I've never been one to believe in the supernatural, but what happened to me one summer night in a small, forgotten town changed everything. It was a disturbing true story that still haunts my nightmares. I was on a road trip with my friends, heading to a remote cabin we had rented for the weekend. The cabin was nestled deep in the woods, far from civilization. The plan was simple: a weekend of relaxation, campfires, and good company. Little did we know, we were stepping into a nightmare. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the forest grew darker, and the cabin became our sanctuary. We laughed, we drank, and we shared stories around the campfire. But as the night wore on, unease settled in the pit of my stomach. A chill ran down my spine when someone mentioned the legend of the Whistling Woods. The locals spoke of an eerie phenomenon that occurred in these very woods. They claimed that, at night, the trees would emit a haunting, melodic whistle, a sound that sent shivers down anyone's spine who heard it. I scoffed at the idea, dismissing it as a mere campfire tale. But my friends were intrigued, and they decided to venture into the woods to see if the legend held any truth. Driven by curiosity and perhaps a touch of liquid courage, I joined them. We trudged through the darkened forest, our flashlights cutting through the inky blackness. The air grew colder, and the rustling of leaves seemed to grow louder with every step. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. As we ventured deeper into the woods, a strange sensation washed over me. It was as if the very air around us had thickened, and an oppressive weight settled on my chest. I wanted to turn back, to retreat to the safety of the cabin, but my friends pressed on. Then, it happened. Faintly at first we heard it, a soft, eerie whistle, like the wind playing a mournful tune through the trees. My heart raced, and I exchanged terrified glances with my friends. The legend was true. The whistle grew louder, more melodic, and it seemed to come from all around us, as if the very forest itself was singing. Panic set in, and we tried to retrace our steps, but the path behind us had vanished. We were lost in the whistling woods. The melody became hypnotic, and a sense of dread washed over us. Shadows danced in the darkness, and strange, indistinct figures moved just beyond the reach of our flashlights. Fear consumed us, and we ran blindly through the forest, desperate to escape the haunting tune. Hours passed, or perhaps it was mere minutes. I couldn't tell. We stumbled upon an old, dilapidated cabin, its windows shattered and the door hanging askew. Desperation forced us to seek shelter within its decaying walls. Inside, the air was thick with an acrid, metallic smell. The walls were adorned with faded, peeling wallpaper, and the floor was littered with broken furniture. We huddled together, our flashlights casting long, eerie shadows on the walls. The whistle, now deafening, seemed to emanate from inside the cabin itself. We covered our ears trying to block out the haunting sound, but it penetrated our very souls. Madness threatened to consume us. Then, the room fell silent. The whistle ceased, replaced by an unsettling quiet. It was as if the world itself was holding its breath. We exchanged bewildered glances, unsure of what had just transpired, but our respite was short-lived. From the darkness, a figure emerged, a grotesque and contorted silhouette. Its limbs were elongated, its face twisted and deformed. It moved with a slow, deliberate grace, its eyes fixated on us. Terror gripped us and we tried to flee, but our bodies were paralyzed, as if some unseen force held us in place. The figure drew nearer, its malevolent gaze piercing our very souls. It whispered words I couldn't understand, its voice a sinister hiss. It raised an elongated finger, and with a grotesque, gnarled nail, it etched a symbol onto the wall, a symbol that seemed to pulse with malevolent energy. And then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the figure vanished, leaving behind only the haunting symbol on the wall. The whistle returned, louder and more haunting than ever. We huddled in that decaying cabin, trapped in a nightmare that defied explanation. The whistle continued to torment us, driving us to the brink of madness. We were prisoners of the whistling woods, forever haunted by the disturbing true story that unfolded that fateful night. To this day, I don't know what we encountered in those woods, whether it was a malevolent spirit or something far more sinister. But one thing is certain: the legend of the Whistling Woods is no mere tale. It's a horrifying reality that will haunt me until the end of my days.